Welcome back, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, to the super, not funny show reviews. And today we are reviewing The Last of Us, Episode 5. That's entitled Endure and Survive, coming to you from HBO, streaming on HBO Max. So, what did we think about it, and should you be watching? Before we get into the review, get down there, hit the like on this video. Lottie, last we checked, Joel and Ellie were staring down a barrel of guns, right?
Yeah.
They were in Kansas City, kind of in a boiling pot that was threatening to make them into frog soup, if you will, and trying to figure a way out. Only to find themselves at gunpoint by a couple of people that I know you recognize, but I had no idea who the hell they were. But that's what this episode is about. Endure and Survive is all about who the hell are Sam and what's the other guy's name? Henry. Sam and Henry. Henry, of course, had been mentioned by Kathleen, who's got a mad on for him something terrible and is going to tear apart Kansas City brick by brick if she has to find him. So I've been asking, what the hell does this guy do? I'm like, all right, what did he do? And this episode really answered that question. That he was a collaborator, maybe the worst collaborator of all. And they give no fucks about collaborators, am I right?
Yeah.
So this is really about Joel and Ellie sort of striking a deal with Sam and Henry and Sam to kind of get out of Kansas City. And the difficulties that go along with that, and there's a big climactic thing at the very end, and kind of some sad shit. So I know we'll go into it some more, but Lottie, I love this episode. This episode was pretty much everything it ought to be doing for a zombie thing. In fact, I will say this: I've decided that The Last of Us Infected, I guess that's what they're called, the Infected, they may be the most terrifying zombies I've ever seen on screen. They are fucking frightening. Especially seeing, what happens at the end of the episode where there's this big battle. The promise of terrible zombie shit happening was kind of fulfilled. But in the midst of all of that, we also learning about Henry and Sam and their kind of tragic situation, and that leads them into odds with Kathleen and why she wants to kill them, and him acknowledging his wrongs and why he sort of deserves it. And Joel and Ellie are sort of kind of stuck in the middle of all of this, just trying to get the hell out of Dodge, but also understanding that Kathleen is not going to give up. And also, I'm going to speak to this later on, finding out the scariest thing in this episode was not the fucking zombies. So, geez, I loved it. And it's kind of sad at the end, but man, this was great. And I think everyone, particularly Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, but also Lamar Johnson, who played Henry, had a lot to work with as far as the material that they were acting, the way they were acting. And Melanie Linsky as Kathleen is just amazing. She's great. I loved it. I think the show just keeps getting better. So anyway, what'd you think about it?
I said last episode was the best episode of The Last of Us by far. I changed that to this episode was the best episode. And it surpassed episode 4 and it knocked it out on its way as it was passing it by. It didn't just lap it. It punched it in the face and took another lap around. This is what I've been waiting for with this show. This is The Last of Us. This is what I've been waiting for. And I'm so happy that it's finally showing what people who have played the game, that people who've never played the game could see why we loved the story so much, because it pretty much almost directly followed the game by a T. There's just a small little few things. The only thing is that, of course, we talked about last time, Kathleen and all them, they don't really exist. The people that are hunting them down are just murderers and rapists and all that stuff. And Sam was the Sam in the game is the same age as Ellie and doesn't have a disability
Hmm.
in the game. But everything else was pretty much exactly how it happened. And I played the game, so I know what's happening, but I was still at the edge of my seat. I was like, oh man, what's about to happen? Literally, I'm literally knowing what's about to happen, but I'm still at the edge of my seat, and that is what I'm talking about. To get someone who has played the game, who knows what is about to happen, for us to make me want to be at my edge of my seat, that is what I'm talking about. 10 out of 10. Loved this episode. Chef's kiss. God, this was a good episode.
Yeah, this the thing is, I could tell that when I was watching this episode, I could tell like, okay, this is definitely gameplay being translated into like a show. I could tell. I don't care because a lot of that stuff is cool. Like and they intercut it with character building moments that people have been saying like that this show is good for introducing you to characters that you grow to love and then killing them immediately. And it's and that's kind of what goes on here. Like, yeah, we heard about Henry and that she hates him and wants him dead and like we'll do whatever. Okay, why? Oh, we find out he sold out her brother who was like sort of the leader, the I won't even say the Malcolm X of their resistance movement, and that Kathleen was just one of his followers until he died, and then she took up the reins and became brutal, and actually made the whole resistance take out Fedra, and like they go back and show Fedra being deposed, and they're talking about Henry later says 20 years of predation, just like raping and killing, just oppressing. And we see like right before Joel and Ellie get there a month beforehand, this all comes to a head when this guy gets killed, the brother gets killed and she takes over and just brutalizes Fedra. And we see the hate for them spill out into as they kind of desecrate bodies and hang people. And there's a huge backdrop of things that like you enter this, Joel and Ellie enter Kansas City knowing nothing. And in the space of 15 minutes, we know the entire history and we understand exactly what's happening and why Henry is going, if they catch him, they're going to destroy him. And we also know that they need him to leave. They've got to have him to get out of there. And so, Joel is like, I don't work with rats. He doesn't like Fedra anyway, but to find out that he's a collaborator, but also knowing I need this guy. And then later on being like, you know what? I know why you told me why you did it and what you needed to do to keep your brother safe and alive. And I get it. So I spoke too soon. And I'm like, Joel is supposed to be this hard ass that, he doesn't let people in or anything like that. And he, in that moment, like, I get it. I don't like it. I get why you did it. And I probably would have done the same thing. And just like, you have to, you don't necessarily respect being a rat, but like why he did what he did. And of course, Sam and Ellie's interaction. I mean, just twist the knife in, damn it. It's ridiculous. Like they really did that. So, but I don't think this was a 10 of 10, but it was really good to me. I have some. This is more about what the hell Ellie is really my. I had a what the hell Ellie moment.
Okay, what said there was one part. Okay. What was the part where you said what the hell, Ellie?
My blood is medicine. Get the fuck out of here. even if that's true, what a shitty thing to do. I don't mean
yeah, because that's one thing I will say. This you just reminded me that wasn't in the game. They didn't know that he was ever bitten. You know what I mean?
Right.
So this is what happened. In the game. The scene happened. Same thing happened. The place got overran and they killed all the rapists and murderers. A bloater never showed up, which was That
Which
shot
we
was
got to talk
freaking
about Bloater,
awesome.
by the way. We have to talk about the Bloater,
Okay.
and also
But
we got to talk about the clicker kid too. Good God.
yeah.
Oh my God.
So
Oh, anyway.
so what happened is they went into the room and like Sam was being more like angry and upset than usual, and he's just like he asked Ellie like, "Hey, do you think infected keep their minds and what they're doing?" And Ellie just like makes a joke and says, "Well, it doesn't matter. We'll just kill them." And he got mad and said, "Oh, come on, those are some people." And she's like, "You know what? I never really thought about that." But then she said, "I understand because she never reveals to them that she's of
Yeah, she's
course, never
infected.
reveals the. She never revealed that, but he was like, he said he just wants to go to sleep. And when he woke up, he was standing up over her and started attacking her. And Joel went into there to go get his gun, and the same thing happened. But like you said, the little thing of putting that thing on there, it's just like I was like, why did the show? I even said that too. Like, why did the show do that? No,
Well, it
no.
really was like it's a huge dick move. Not even want a dick move. It was a shitty thing to do. Not to give him hope. That's fine. I'm fine with that. But to not tell Henry and Joel, so that Henry
Yeah,
could say goodbye to his brother properly, so that when he kind of instinctively kills Sam, who's turned, um, he's like, what did I do? And he kills himself, and it makes it even more tragic because if she had done the right thing and told them about it, yeah, they would have still had to kill Sam, but at least they could have gone. They could have ended, his life in a way that was a lot more respectful, and that gave Henry a chance to have closure. Because at the end of it, you're just like, what did he do all of that for? What did he sell that guy out for if his brother still died? And I get that that's a fallacious way of thinking, but it just struck me as really shitty thing for Ellie to do. And she's not a perfect person or anything like that. She doesn't know better, and she's believing her own hype. But like, it's just I hated it. Not I hated
yeah,
I hated the feeling like fuck you, Ellie, for a moment,
yeah.
because that
Like
sucked.
the Ellie in this show compared to the video games is definitely least. She doesn't have nearly as much as compassion
Yeah,
as the video game Ellie, and I that's my one thing that I don't like, that she's not as compassionate as, because like you said, if the video game Ellie knew that he was infected, he would she would have pretended to go to sleep and then told
yeah,
Joel and the brother. You
yeah.
know what I mean? The simple fact that she kept it a secret is, like he said, that is shitty, because he like that's
It
messed
wasn't
up. He
just that
he
he was a danger. It's really more that it didn't give Henry a chance to kind of come to grips with losing his brother. Like, and he
exactly.
had plenty of chance to do it. So I mean, that's one of my only gripes. Before we end the review, we got to talk about that damn bloater and that final that battle, which was epic. Oh my God, what like I remember seeing like there's the explosion, and then everyone's sort of like, oh, what the hell's going on over there? And you see like this thing sort of tilting into a sinkhole, and I was like, oh, that's where all the infected that were driven out of Kansas City went to. That's where they are. They weren't in the tunnels. They didn't have an encounter in the tunnels. They're there, and as soon as that's what was going on in the city too. That little rumbling hole, and all these infected spill out. And like I said, it's terrifying. Like they are on these guys like they're the Flash, right? And just like they're shooting and shooting and shooting and trying to figure out what's going on. And then this bloater comes out and just starts wrecking shop, just
Yes.
going. And knowing what's the guy that was Kathleen's right hand was just like, yeah, get out of here, and because he knows what's up. And my God, I mean, I could keep going. Like what you saw the bloater for the first time. Like, what was? Did they get it right? Is that
Oh yeah,
exactly what
yeah,
it?
oh yeah, oh yeah. They got it right. In this show, they made him pretty much almost invincible. In the game, he has like little weak points where you could shoot, but in this show, they pretty much made him like you're gonna have to probably get like some explosives to even like to just slow it down. Cause man, that thing, boy. Woo. And you know that was you know what he did to the guy. That's the death animation. That's the death animation if he
Oh,
catches
it
Joel.
rips your head off.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That was crazy, yo. Would it interest you to know that part of that was practical? They built a suit for an actor to be in to kind of do some of that stuff. So obviously, some of it's
That's why
CG.
it looks. That's why it look. Because I actually would love that Hollywood would go back to doing more stuff like that, practical with CG, just making it look better because
Dude,
it looks realistic. You know what I
it
mean?
costs $500,000 to make that suit.
Jesus. But that $500,000
Totally
was
worth
well
it
spent.
because they're going to be doing. Obviously, we're going to see more of those bloaters. But yeah, what a badass bit. And my last little bit. This last bit, I know this is running long, but it's just a good episode. Kathleen, we got to talk about her. I'm telling you, she was the most terrifying thing in that episode. Her casual, she's a school teacher. She's your next door
Yeah.
neighbor. She's her casual way of saying to those collaborators, "We're gonna kill you all unless you say something, and then we're gonna kill them all anyway, right?" Or to say, "Oh, we're not really doing trials, right? Burn the bodies, you know." Um, no, I don't fuck the bloater. I care about Henry. Even in the midst of all of that stuff, she still was like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you guys anyway," even though there's mayhem behind her. And if it wasn't for
Yeah.
the appearance of that kid clicker, which was again frightening, like the kid clicker was, ugh, it was like watching Silent Hill or something in real life. So
Yeah, when that thing jumped out on him, but over her and just ripped her. I was like, "That's what your dumb ass get," because that's
priorities
what
are
your
wrong.
dumbass get. I saw some people online saying it's just a kid. Why can't she kick it off? And I'm like, you see, guys, it may have not been apparent, but in the video games, clickers have not abnormal strength. That she's not getting away from that kid.
Yeah.
Once a clicker has you, it's over. It's over. It's you. You might as well bite the dust, especially a bloater. And also here's another thing that I put on I put on a comment online when people were talking about all the things eating everybody at the thing, and I said, "You guys are missing the big point." They're like, "What? That city is fucked.
Yep.
That chick fucked them. She fucked them.
Well,
They
consider,
don't. They
yeah.
didn't deserve it. They didn't. Her mindless way of rage just didn't fuck her. It fucked everybody because she could have dealt with it before Henry. She could have dealt with that, and then even then, instead of retreating, she just wanted they're fucked because because remember they're no longer behind the gate. They're living in the city. Those infected are going to
Well,
destroy
they're outside the perimeter of the city, but now they have a way up. They were underground. They had no way up, and they have a bloater. And there's probably more than one because of that. Remember
Exactly.
the little sinkhole we saw underneath that building. So they are
Yeah,
definitely, and they have no leader now. Like their leader's dead.
exactly.
So yeah, it's going down. Kansas City gonna suck very soon. Yeah. So I mean, we could go on. This I think is a great episode. Um, gosh, what else can they do to make this show, even better? But I have.
I'm keeping my lips closed because you think you're at the tip of the iceberg, now man, you're still climbing.
Well, I saw a bit of a preview for the next episode, so I'm quite interested to see what Wyoming is like. It's going down. I'm very 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 excited. So anyway, those are our thoughts on The Last of Us episode 5. What did you guys think about it? What do you think about what we had to say? Get down to the comments section, leave your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit us up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. And do us a favor, get down there, hit like, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff helps with the video, helps with the channel so more people can see our content. All right, all you Fabricants and Fleshbags, thanks for joining us. Come back next week. We're going to be reviewing episode 6 of The Last of Us. Until then, I've been Mo De Poupe, your resident fabricant and comic extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend Lottie. And we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.
Peace.